Ahoy, me hearties! We're back at it again with another Warlock build, and no, I haven't lost my mind. Today's video is all about that ability spam thing we're addicted to, only on steroids, and for our whole team, all because of the new exotic called Fallen Sunstar. Not only is this thing one of the wickedest looking exotics I've ever seen, but it also turns our whole team into ability spamming degenerates. The exotic perk is called Ion Conductor. It causes our ionic traces to zip around at the speed of light and grants us and our team additional ability energy with every trace we collect. You might be asking, what's the difference between this and Crown of Tempest? Well, besides looking way cooler, it benefits our whole team, synergizes with the Arc subclass a little better because of ionic traces, and doesn't require us to use Storm Trance to take full advantage of the exotic. We get to use Chaos Reach for some boss damage. My whole 6-man team was spamming abilities faster than we had ad spawning. It was... I don't even know what to say at this point. It's not broken, but with a simple build, it kind of feels that way. So that's what this video is about. Make it feel broken with as little effort as possible while being an absolute blast to use. I used a variation of a Warlock build I already put out with a few tweaks. And since this Warlock helmet is all about ionic traces, what better weapon to pair it with than the new Delicate Tomb? This exotic fusion rifle creates ionic traces when we kill ads, and when we collect those traces, even if they come from our abilities, it overcharges the weapon, jolting targets on hit. In case you didn't know, jolting is sort of like a debuff to an enemy. When they're jolted, taking additional arc damage causes them to send out chain lightning to everything around them. Arrgh! But this be only the beginning. We will have almost a permanent uptime on being amplified so we can zoom around the map, never-ending ionic traces to feed our abilities, consistent blinding to make ads walk around like they had too much grog, and all the jolting our little hearts could desire, if we pair it with the aspects Electrostatic Mind and Lightning Surge. Electrostatic Mind creates ionic traces when defeating targets with arc abilities or defeating jolted or blinded enemies. This includes the jolted enemies from the fusion rifle. And Lightning Surge, the new super cool melee, jolts everything around us when we rematerialize, which in return gives us more ionic traces to feed our team. These two aspects are beyond powerful and in my opinion have been the most fluid so far, or synergizing the best out of all the aspects when it comes to Arc 3.0. But ask me this question again in a week and I might change my mind. These two aspects open up 4 fragment slots for us to play with. I went with beacons to blind enemies with the fusion rifle while amplified, because we'll always be amplified from all the ionic traces and electrostatic mind. Resistance to bump our damage resistance while surrounded, which comes in really handy when using the new Lightning Surge melee. Magnitude to extend the duration of our lightning grenade, and discharge to create even more ionic traces for us and our team. When it comes to the mods, I wanted to keep this simple and somewhat open-ended. We can go the path of extra healing or the all-out pirate way and be obnoxious with bonus weapon damage and abilities. I do want to mention though that the healing path isn't as consistent as something like the solar subclass, and it slows down our ability recharge rate. The main mods for both versions are Melee Wellmaker twice and 1 Elemental Ordnance to drop arc wells from our abilities. If we're going the path of healing, they only serve to help feed our abilities, but if we're going the way of the Hornswoggle, just so you know I had to Google all these. They help give us a consistent 25% damage buff to arc weapons, so depending on your choice, the last 2 mods are either Bountiful Wells and Font of Might for the damage buff and more abilities, or Explosive Wellmaker and Well of Life for the healing. Our Storm Grenades and the new melee both have a chance to drop Solar Wells from Explosive Wellmaker, and again, it's not as consistent as using a rocket launcher with Explosive Wellmaker. I keep mentioning this because outside of something like the new seasonal activity, Explosive Wellmaker from our abilities doesn't drop as often. A great minor mod to pair with either version is Hands-On for bonus super energy from melee kills, and Momentum Transfer to reduce melee cooldown from grenade damage. We can get the damage of Chaos Reach, a 25% weapon damage buff to all arc weapons, fast abilities for everyone, but most of all, it's just fun. All we have to do is kill ads with our abilities to make even more abilities for the whole team. The exotics do all the work for us. It's so simple, I don't even have to give an explanation on how this works. I took this build in a lot of PvE activities so far, and it hasn't let me down yet. Will it work for Grandmasters? Probably not, but I'm not worried about GMs just yet. I want to enjoy the season and plunder some booty, because you guys all know how I'm addicted to booty. One last thing to say, Stop salivating, Stormy. I'm not becoming a Warlock main just because I made 2 videos in a row. Remember to be good to one another, and have a fantastic day. Thank you!
And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. I'll fucking take smoke, I'ma poke a hole through you, choking's overdue. Come at me and you won't get any older, dude. Crack your holder too. Heating up inside of me, blood so violently, thanks for trying me. Now it's finally time to see how this rivalry becomes a dynasty.